Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? No, that's my lamps. Let's try to do that now. Try to come over here. Let's see if I can take these lamps out of play. All right, is it light enough? I guess so. Hello, my Teaser King family. I am coming to you live from up north, a hotel up north. It's on Lake Michigan, just a little R&R, getting ready for the season, getting a break from uh, just getting a break from everyday life and coming here. It's a little resort. It's on the lake. It's about a 4-hour drive. Did it yesterday, and not too bad. You go a couple hours, you take a break. You go a couple more, you take a break, and then you're here and relax. They got a pool. Hot tub's okay. Uh, they got a beach I can go, but it's been raining, so hopefully it clears up, and some golf. And then we'll study. So, where should we start? We start with gold. Where else? So, gold's having its fun. Uh, right now, it's 33.22. Got up to 33.45. It'll end back at 33.33, 33.40. This is so the U.S. can buy gold. This is so all the countries can buy gold. That's what this price is. This price is not real. If it is, why would this go down? Why would it go down at 8 o'clock and then go down at 10 o'clock? There's no reason. This is just bullshit. This is not based on anybody buying or selling. This is strictly based on options and derivatives like trading places. So this has nothing to do with reality, just options, and it's just kept down so people can buy it. And once it's gone, and I think it's just about gone if it's not, once it's gone, then you're looking at a much higher gold price as we are talking 4,500, 5,000, 10,000. The dollar just keeps losing value. So it's a real no brainer to get out of the dollars and get into gold and silver. Silver slipping down to 37.43 is just another buying opportunity. These prices are paper. I wouldn't worry about them too much. We just want to kind of check them, because if you do need to sell gold or silver, at least you can see what the price is. So you can get 33.23 for gold if you need to sell an ounce or so. So it's still pretty, I don't know, depends on where you bought it, but I know most of us bought it at 17, 18, 1900. And there you go. So busy couple of days for me. Sunday I had to pick our friend up from class. He was in Canada. See, I do these services for our classmates, our Teaser King family. So Air Canada went on strike, so he couldn't get a flight. He lives in Vegas, couldn't get a flight to Vegas. So he took a Greyhound. He could get a flight out of Detroit. So Toronto and Detroit is a 4-hour drive, 200 miles, 250 miles. And so he took a bus. I picked him up at the bus station, which isn't marked in Detroit. It's downtown. It's just like every other government building. It's not marked. You just saw the address, and you happen to know the address, and it was right there. And then I took him to the airport, and then he flew out, got back to Vegas. But anyway, so that was my busy Sunday, and then yesterday traveling. So I could have done a show yesterday, but I was just too tired. So we'll do it today. All right, let's go to, well, let's check the Dow. So this makes like no sense. The Dow's up $94. Talk about bullshit. You got to be kidding. Why would anybody be in stocks where they're getting out of the dollar? So they think being in a dollar stock is out of the dollar. I don't get, people don't understand being in the stock market, you're still in the dollar because the stocks are priced in dollars. You haven't gotten out of the dollar. It's not like, well, the dollar will collapse, but I'll be in stocks. No, bonds, no. In the bank, no. You're still in the dollar. When the Titanic sinks, the Titanic sinks, and it doesn't matter. So it doesn't really get you out of it. Just a second. So you want to be out of the dollar no matter what. So if the dollar is stocks and bonds and all that is still dollars. The bank money, the money in the bank. So, why are people going into stocks? I think a lot of it's AI, a lot of it's 401k. I called up the hotel and it was, so I got a virtual assistant. Is the pool open? He can't answer the question. What a waste of time. I hate this virtual and AI crap. Uh, the AI crap's ridiculous. And so is the virtual, really. So, anyway, stocks 44,000. I wouldn't even pay attention to that. That's not real. As Egon's guy said, it's the market of stocks, not the stock market. So you could own a good stock and you'll be fine if you can find one, but they're all kind of corrupt. They're all way overvalued. I wouldn't be in stocks. All right, let's go through. Well, where should we start? All right, let's look at. I don't have my baseball sheet of the other day, so we'll look at baseball today. And we start with 220 Milwaukee at the Cubs. And Milwaukee lost the game on Sunday. And then here we go again. They won yesterday. It was incredible. They lost on Sunday. They hit a 2-run homer to go up 2-1 in the ninth and gave up the tying run and lost them 10 innings. That's what happens when you're on a streak. A lot of good things happen. So they had one big streak and now a second big streak. I like when the Tigers go on their streak and it's against shit. I'm so sick of the Tiger announcers. Like they're trying to make it a big deal. Well, if you watch the pitchers they play against, me and you could hit home runs off. They're terrible. Ricky Green hit a home run yesterday. That was was grooved right down the middle, didn't move. It just fastball right down the middle, and he hits it. It's like, yeah, what great pitching, great hitting. So no, the Tigers they're on a streak now. We'll see them today against Houston. They're facing a real pitcher. Look for them to get shut out. They can't hit good pitching. They can only hit, when they get the spaghetti yesterday was terrible. Man, he has no movement on his pitches. He just throws the ball right down the middle and they hit it. It's crazy. All right, so Milwaukee hot. Patrick 3-7, 3.52 against Matthew Boyd 11-6, 2.46. Who never really wins a big game. Yeah, Milwaukee's hot. Let's just keep going with Milwaukee. I need a sheet. I hate to use my football sheet. Well, I'll just write it in my folder here. All right. So today is 8/19. And let's go. We'll take Milwaukee for 2 units. St. Louis at Miami. This is now the rest are night games. Miami 155-8. Michael McGreevy 4-2, 4.41. Edward Cabrera 6-6 with the 3.34. I like Miami's been playing really well. I don't love the pitching, but I think Miami wins, but I'm not going to play it. Toronto at Pittsburgh. Scanes won yesterday, I believe, and Max Scherzer's on today, 3-2 with a 3.83 against Mitch Keller, 4.13. I'm going to take Toronto here with Scherzer. Again, Pitt just doesn't hit. Scherzer's starting to pitch better, I've been noticing. Ignore his ERA at 3.83. It was like 7, and he's been one running it lately. So I think he's back, which Toronto can use with their 73-53 record. Houston at Detroit. Detroit 160-7. Hunter Brown, their ace, 10-5, 2.45 goes against Scooble, 11-3 with the 2.42. But I don't buy the 2.42 lately. It's been about 3.5, 4, and it's really higher because that's just in 6 innings. He's given up 3-4 runs. I like Hunter Brown here against Scooble. I don't trust Scooble to keep it under. I'm going to take Houston here. Now, my only fear is that Detroit steal signs in Detroit. I mean, their home record's so much better than their road record. So they could set up the sign stealing in Comerica and do it, but when they go on the road, they can't. So I think that's why you see them so dominant at home. They know what pitch is coming. So I'll take Hunter Brown here, but I don't know with Scooble. It should probably be an under also. So let's go under 7. But I'm a little leery of that he's going to shut out Houston. Maybe at home, but I don't know. Seattle at Philly. Bryce Miller 2-5 with the 5.73 against Christopher Sanchez 11-4, 2.45. We'll go Philadelphia there, and we'll go 3 units. The Mets at Washington. The Mets are minus 209. David Peterson 7-5, 3.30. Jake Irvin 8-7 with the 5.14. I like Mets here. Peterson. I'm not going to bet it, but I like it. Baltimore at Boston. Tama Sugano for Baltimore 10-5, 4.13. Walker Buehler 7-7 with the 5.43. Let's look at Walker Buehler. I don't know. Every time I watch him, he's getting better, I think. So his last 4 gave up 4 runs to Houston. Shutout San Diego, 3 runs to Houston, 3 runs to the Dodgers. 2, 3, 3, 4. Yeah, he sucks. All right, so we won't bet Boston. Baltimore over. It's probably an over game in Fenway, I would think. The White Sox in Atlanta. Atlanta 175, 8.5. Shane Smith 3-7, 401. Bryce Elder 5-9 with the 5.89. Two shit pitchers. I'm gonna leave this alone. The Yankees at Tampa. Yankees 130-8. Carlos Rodon 12-7, 3.25. Shane Baz 8-9, 4.93. I'm going to leave this alone as they're playing in George Steinbrenner Field in Tampa. Probably goes over, but I'm not going to play it. Oakland Mini 145, 8.5. Jacob Lopez 6.6 with the 3.30. Joe Ryan 12-5 with the 2.72. Where was he last time? I'm not going to play. I think Minnesota with Ryan, but he's not consistent. He's got a 2.72, but it was lower, and now it's higher. I'll leave this alone. Texas at Kansas City. Texas 105, 8.5. Merrill Kelly 9-7, 3.86. Seth Lugo 8-6 with the 3.77. This is dead even. Again, I think KC's on a little win streak. We might take KC. Milwaukee and the Cubs game 2. Brandon Woodruff 4-0 with the 2.06. Even when they bring up guys, they're 4-0 with the 2.06 Milwaukee. James Talion 7-6, 4.44. It's like Colorado. All their pitches are like 3-10, and that's because when you only win 20 games, your pitching is going to be bad, and that's what happened. But what is that? I think it's just a line. But the same with Milwaukee. They're 79-45, so all their pitchers are going to be 4-0 and 8-2 and everything. We'll see what happens in game 1 of the doubleheader before we go with game 2. The Dodgers, Colorado. Dodgers 285-12. Emmett Smith 3-2 with a 3.86 goes against Austin Comer 0-6, 6.75. We're not going to lay 285, and we're not going to go over 12. So the lines are keeping us away. Cincinnati, California. Cincinnati 145, 8.5. Hunter Green 5-3, 2.47. Kyle Lennox, we're going to go Cincinnati. I like Hunter Green. He's got the 2.47 ERA. Cleveland, Arizona. Arizona 125-9. Tanner Bibby 9-9, 4.54 against Eduardo Rodriguez 5-7, 4 finish. Probably an over game, but Cleveland just doesn't hit well enough. I'll leave it alone, but I think it's an over. And the 49ers and the San Diego Chargers. San Diego 228. Kai Wen Tang 1-2 with a 9.9 against Nick Pivetta 12-4, 2.87. This will be our lock of the day. San Diego 5 units. Let's check the streaks. So in the American League, the Yankees are on a 3-game winning streak. We'll wait for the next. Kansas City. So we will play KC on a 4-game winning streak. And Seattle's on a 3-game losing streak, but we wait till 4. In the National League, we've got San Diego's on a 4-game losing streak, but we're betting them anyway. Colorado's on a 4-game losing streak. Or no, they're on a 4-game winning streak, and they got the Dodgers. And Arizona's on a 4-game losing streak. So we're going against the streak with San Diego just because of the pitching. So let's make it a 3-unit instead of a 5-unit. We'll respect the streak. But this is the problem in baseball. You got 5 pitchers, so you got a couple of, like the Tigers, they have 4 bad pitchers and Skubal. So they could easily go on a 4-game losing streak. Or if Skubal loses, 7 to 8-game winning losing streak. So it makes it difficult. It makes it difficult to understand the streak. In football or something, basketball, it's the same players. They're all playing, right? If you beat, let's say you beat San Diego in football 4 times, it's Herbert and those guys, unless Herbert's injured. So you have that. But when you have baseball, it's different pitchers pitching, so you get different varieties. So let's go through it. We got Milwaukee game 1, 2 units. Toronto, 2 units. Houston, 2 units. Houston under 2 units, under 7. Philly 3 units, Cincinnati 2, San Diego down to 3, and Kansas City on their streak 2. So we like the streaks. We look for more Milwaukee streaks. That's twice Milwaukee's won us a ton. 13, 14 game winning streaks. They have really good pitching, and they have really good hitting. They're the A team, probably the best team. They'll beat the Dodgers, San Diego. Well, let's see who's even there. Philly, 72 wins. And in contrast, Milwaukee was 79. The Cubbies was 70. The Dodgers, 71. San Diego, 69. So out of that mess, 1, 2, 3, you got 4 teams over 70 wins. San Diego at 69. Cincinnati at 66, the Cubbies at 70, and the Mets at 66. So that's really all you got. Milwaukee can handle all those teams. So that's going to be hard. American League, Toronto 73 wins, the Yankees, Boston 68, Detroit 74, Houston 69, Seattle 68. None of those can handle Milwaukee. Maybe Toronto at the best with Scherzer going and their other pitchers. Detroit is too weak. School's all they got. They got no bullpen. They got no hitting unless they're at Detroit and they can steal the signs. You know, it's all I hear on Detroit. They keep talking about Michigan and their sign stealing. I don't even get it. You see all the coaches talk like this, right? Because they don't want anybody reading their lips. Because they realize people read their lips. So if you sit there with a big sign that has a Colorado, a buffalo on it, or an Oregon duck, or Lou Holtz, you have these big signs. It's not really sign stealing. It's pretty obvious. You're telling them what you're doing. So I really don't get the whole big deal about stealing signs being illegal. I don't think it is. I think if you catch it, hey, David, yeah, I'm on a little vacation, small vacation. I didn't go to Europe. I'm just Lake Michigan, gone for a week. Kids are getting out of starting school, I think, next week. So, it was quiet when I got here. It's getting a little bit noisier, but we'll see. It's been raining out and cloudy, been real shitty weather. So hopefully I can lay on the beach. And there's an indoor pool. I've been doing that. I brought my wedge and my putter. I'll go. There's a nice Jack Nicklaus course. I can chip and putt there and just kind of walk around. I had the worst breakfast. Oh, my breakfast was horrible. I had Fruit Loops. I had toast, everything I'm not supposed to eat. I had a yogurt. I had a bunch of eggs. I didn't have a lot of this. A little bowl of Fruit Loops and a little raisin toast, and then, just a treat, not a regular meal. What else did I have? They had no bacon. I'll have to go to a restaurant. It's a buffet, but it doesn't even come with. They charge you for it, but it's not. The eggs were all I really wanted, but I'm not going to pay $10 for eggs. And the rest, it's just no wonder everybody gets orange juice. I didn't eat that, and it's just terrible with the yogurt and the bread, all carbs, pancakes and French toast. I didn't have any of that. Mostly eggs, and then I did have the other stuff in moderation. Just I'm on vacation, I'm going to eat that, but I don't want to eat this early. I don't want to eat till noon. This is where you get difficult. I do a 4-day fast, and then I do all this and no sweets and no nothing. And then you go on a vacation, and you can't wait till noon to eat because the buffet's at 10. I suppose I could, but really you don't want to. It's funny. I had my avocado in the room, and my olive oil and lemon I brought with, so I'll have that later. Fridge in the room, microwave in the room, so that'll be good. Anyway, so they keep talking about this Michigan punishment, and they yell at you if you think why are they being punished? Why are they yelling at these people? I don't know. What kind of hosts are these people? Well, I don't think they did anything wrong. Okay, fine. That's that guy's opinion. Frankly, whoever this host is, I don't give a shit about your opinion. It's like I don't give a shit about whatchamacallit, Peter Schiff, and I don't give a shit about Andy Scheckman's opinion or Reichert or Rick Rude. I don't care about any of those guys' opinions because they're wrong. So I don't really care about the host of a radio station bitching at guys going, they broke a rule. Really? Alabama never broke any rules or, uh, any of that when they were recruiting and paying for Tagovailoa's parents to get a house. No. So it just, they're so two faced and they like, and you're like, who cares? If I were to call up, I wouldn't even call up, but if I was, I would say, who cares? Nobody gives a shit about they get penalized or not. The problem with them winning the title was not stealing signs, it was the schedule. It was a high school schedule. They played nobody. Ohio State sucked that year. Penn State sucked that year. And there was nobody. And then they beat in the playoff. I don't remember who they beat. And then they beat Texas. But I think they beat Alabama. Like they luckily beat Alabama because Milrose fumbled the ball. And then they beat Texas. They, Penix couldn't get a break, but that was not a very good team. Well, who knows? They didn't play anybody. So, did they cheat stealing signs? Absolutely not. There's no such thing. When I played baseball, when you're on second base, you steal the signs. You're supposed to. You're supposed to look at the catcher and see what he puts down. If he puts two, you cross your legs. That's part of the game is to steal signs. It's not like it's illegal. I don't know why people think it's illegal. So in football, like I said, if I hold a poster up and I say, "Here, this means we're gonna run to the left," well, why would I put up a big sign? How hard is it to steal that sign? Uh, so I don't know. I don't think anything wrong with it. I don't get the penalty, $30 million for sign stealing. I think it's absolutely a joke. I don't think there is a penalty for it. I don't think there's anything wrong with stealing signs. Did they get penalized for it? No. Well, why didn't they get penalized for it? It's only a penalty if you get a flag, right? If you don't get a flag, it's legal. So I don't buy it. I'm sure it goes on. Belichick did it. It goes on in the NFL. It goes on in college. I'm sure Ohio State stealing signs and Notre Dame and Alabama, all of them. That's why they all hold their things in front of their mouths so nobody can read their lips. If you can read your lips through it, fine. But there's no such thing as stealing signs. This is such a joke. I don't get it, but they won't stop talking about it. They keep talking about it like it's a big deal. And then they did cheat. They did cheat. It's like, no, they didn't cheat. I don't know what you would describe it. It's not cheating. The Tigers are doing it now. Houston did it in baseball. And then their manager moves to the Tigers. You don't think he's cheating just like he did at Houston? Come on. The Tigers are in last place. What do they have to lose? All right. So everybody cheats and everything. Just look at Wall Street. Look at the bank. Look at Jamie Dimon. He's in on Madoff Ponzi schemes. And you're worried about Michigan looking at signs. Who cares? It's pointless. All right. Let's see. All right. So we did baseball today. Let's go to the NFL. What a week I had. Again, I believe 8-1. So we start off Tennessee, Atlanta. We have Atlanta plus 12 or 10. Why was Tennessee favored? Cam Ward is not very good. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you. So Atlanta wins. The only loser I had, Kansas City in 12 or 11 or 10 or something. Losing to Seattle. Mahomes doesn't play, which was shocking. We all noticed Joe Burrow played yesterday and Jalen Daniel played. Houston 20-3 over Carolina. Bryce Young looked good. Cleveland 22, Philly 13. We had over 32. We got the 35. That was a winner. Cleveland is named Joe Flacco is their starter, which tells you how bad they are. He's okay. He's an average quarterback. He's not a starter. He's a backup at best. Shows you how bad they are. Dylan Gabriel looked really good on Saturday whenever they played. Prime Jr., give me a break. He's certainly not ready. If he couldn't beat out Joe Flacco, it shows you how he's not ready. But if you notice, Daniels and Bo Nix last year started right up, right? And so you got Prime Jr. hoping to be the third stringer. Gabriel looked very good. He should be their starter soon. Pickett, I don't know why he's there. New England 20, Minnesota 12. Minnesota's got big troubles with J.J. McCarthy. I don't know. I don't understand that. Green Bay 23, Indy 19. We had Green Bay in 10 or 12 points. They win the game. Miami 24, Detroit 17. We had Detroit plus 10 as a home dog. The coach looks in trouble. The defense is terrible. They made Quentin Ewers look like a superstar. They made Trey Lance look like a superstar. In the other Trey Lance games, he's like 6-20, and I haven't seen Ewers do anything. So they're not getting pressure on the quarterback. They're not covering. They suck, and I don't think Hutchinson, who's not going to be ready right away, is going to make any difference. You notice everybody says, "Oh, if Hutchinson was healthy, they would have beat Washington." Bullshit. Hutchinson played in the playoffs the year prior. They struggled with Tampa, and then they got beat by the Niners. And Brock Purdy, he didn't do anything in that game. No, he was playing the Trent Williams, the All-Pro left tackle, and he didn't touch Brock Purdy. So I don't buy that he's the difference. He's good against these weak things. It's like the Tigers. They're good against weak pitchers. Unfortunately, when you play the better teams, they have the better pitchers, and they suck. So Detroit's got big problems, giving up 24. This is their second, third, and fourth strings. And if you're not playing the second team here and you think you're playing your starters in the practice games in T-shirts and shorts, or maybe they're wearing pads and a helmet, but they're practicing, they're not going full steam at practice. So if you think that's going to get you ready, you're in big trouble. The Niners 22, Oakland 19. The Niners kicked 2 field goals in the last 41 seconds to win it. Tampa 17-14, big game by our Kyle Trask again. No Rodgers, no DK Metcalf. The Giants 31-12. Everybody's raving about whatchamacallit, the quarterback, Jackson Dart. Okay, so you put up points against the JETSs, third string, fourth string, and one guy's saying, "Oh, he's the day one starter." No, Russell Wilson is 20 times better than Jackson Dart. I'm not buying Jackson Dart. He was average at Mississippi. He's not a superstar. Stenson Benson on the Rams is better than Jackson Dart. So I don't buy that. Again, these guys get overblown. They have a big day against the fourth string of the Jets. And you want to get all like, oh, look how good he is. Look how good he is if they play a real game with the Jets. Then we'll see how good he is. Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl. You're going to put Jackson Dart, who couldn't even win in the SEC, couldn't make the playoffs, lost to Alabama. You think he's your answer? Sorry. The Rams 23, San Diego 22. We had the Rams in 10 as a home dog. Again, I couldn't understand why. Stenson Benson played the whole game and threw for like 350 yards. Baltimore 31-13. They are deadly in the preseason. They do is win. We had them. They were -1.5. We had them +4.5. And with or without Dak Prescott, we really didn't care. I do see a lot more starting quarterbacks playing, like we saw last night. Burrow played and Daniels played. Daniels didn't complete a pass, but he did play. He ran in a touchdown. Their running looked great. Cincinnati's defense sucks. Hendrickson will play. they're having a problem on the guaranteed money. So he's basically agreed to the deal. I don't know why he's so worried about guaranteed money. Isn't it all insured? If you get injured, it's the insurance policy. So I'm not quite sure. This is football. There's no guarantees you're not going to get hurt. Um, I think this Hendrickson's got to be out of his mind if he doesn't. You have Burrow, Chase. I don't like T. Higgins. This guy yesterday looked like a superstar, their wide receiver, but he's not even getting on the field because you're not getting Chase and T. Higgins out. So you've got that. And what is he doing? You're on Joe Burrow's team. You can win a title if you play because you're a great defensive end. Stop fucking around. Most people leave where they are, Charles Barkley, to get a ring. Here he's got a chance to get a ring, and he's not. He's dicking around because of this bullshit of that. He'll play. I mean, Joe, they were showing. I get ESPN here, so I was watching. They were showing Joe Burrow and him talking, and I'm sure Joe's like, "Get the fuck, go fucking sign already and get out there. We need you. We want to win. We can win a title, but we need defense." So Baltimore plus 4.5, easy winner. Denver, Bo Nix, 27-7 over Arizona. Jacksonville and New Orleans tied 17 all. Our last winner was the Bears over 32. They win 38-0. So we go again 8-1. Our only loser was Kansas City because Mahomes didn't play. We hit the Bears over, Philly over, and then the home dogs of the Rams, the home dog Detroit, Green Bay is a road dog at Indy, the over in Philly. I mean, and the home dog Atlanta. This is like stealing. Again, only Kansas City that we get hurt by with Seattle. And yesterday, Cincinnati 31, Washington 7. I would have played the over if I knew that Jalen Daniels was playing. He played four plays. They scored a touchdown because the running backs ran for like a 30-yard and a 20-yard runs, and then he ran the final 14 and didn't throw a pass. They got the touchdown, but with him out there, they're going to score. Burrow, 2 touchdowns. I like how they left him in when the quarter ended. The first quarter, they had the ball at the 15, so they let him finish the drive. Incredible pass over the linebacker, dropped it in under the safety with about this much room. It was a beautiful pass, but he looked sharp as ever. And like they said, they're not going to start slow this year. And I give them credit. And these idiots on ESPN, Joe Burrow, he got sacked and this and that. And you're like, what are you talking about? The fact it's a preseason, the injury in the week 1 and the injury in the preseason are the same injury. So it doesn't matter that he plays in the preseason or not. So that was that. So what are my takes? So Cam Ward's they're gonna be in trouble. Wait till Penix gets out there. Love Atlanta. We know what Mahomes got. Seattle, they're in trouble. Darnold, okay. We'll see what they do. I'm not all over. Carolina still stinks with Steve Young. Houston, I'm not a big C.J. Stroud fan. Cleveland's in big trouble. Philly, they're the champs. New England, Drake May did nothing in the game. Minnesota's Minnesota with J.J. McCartney's in big trouble. That guy's not very good. I mean, he might make some runs. His big plays are going to be running plays. Can't pass. Green Bay, Jordan Love will be there. He had a minor surgery on his finger, but he'll be fine. Indy, if you're going with Daniel Jones over Richardson, you're in big trouble. They got Bean from Kansas. He should be their starter. He's great. He did great at Kansas. And then you got Riley Leonard from Notre Dame, who never been a big passer, but he showed guts last year, got him to the championship game. So he's also better. I mean, why is Daniel Jones out there? I love the excuse. Well, he's not very good, but he's got experience. Like Davis Mills. Davis Mills sucks, but he's got experience. And these other guys don't. Well, didn't you see him in college? Isn't that why you draft them? Didn't you see Daniels in college and and Trask and Bo Nix. Didn't you watch them in college and see that they're really good? So do you need to see them in the pros to see they're really good? It just amazes me. Miami's terrible. Detroit, I don't even know they'll go 500. You don't win with offense. You don't even know what the offensive coordinator's doing because he looks like he sucks. Hooker's not good. Yeah, they make Hooker not look good because of what the fuck they're doing. They're throwing him in a new offense, and he's out there with the third string, fourth string offensive line and the third and fourth string receivers who have absolutely no business. It's a chemistry thing. It's timing. You can't get timing with the fourth string receiver who's terrible. Let Hooker be out there with the first team, and then you can tell me he sucks. Until then, I don't want to hear it. He's going around. He's getting no protection. The receivers don't know what they're doing. There's no timing. There's no, I'm going to throw it here because I know he'll be there. You don't even know the receivers' names. It's ridiculous. So I'm not buying any of this shit. Hooker is a very good quarterback, but make it fair. Put him out there with the first team and then tell me that he sucks. Let him have time to throw. Let him have St. Thomas and the other guy and the Alabama guy and then you tell me he sucks, but I'm not buying it. And I also think they've confused him from the Tennessee offense. I don't know what offense they're running, so we will see. I don't like Jared Goff not playing at all. Burrow, Mahomes, Daniels, they're out there, but the biggest loser of them all, Goff, doesn't need to practice. Oh, really? So when he throws 5 picks against Houston and 5 picks against Washington, not a very good defense, Washington. Throwing 5 picks, he needs work. He needs how to win in the clutch. And he's not getting that sitting on the bench in his fucking sweatshirt. And you wonder why the Lions, are losers. And that's why. Frisco and Oakland, Purdy and McCaffrey. Okay, you don't expect him to be out there, but apparently he's looking very good. Question is, are there receivers? They should go after the guy on Cincinnati yesterday made 2 brilliant catches, but he's not going to crack the lineup with Chase and Higgins. Maybe he's third or fourth string. He should make the lineup. He looked great, but I would like the Niners or Oakland to get this guy. He looked really good, but ironically, he's never played in the NFL. He's got skills like that, and he can't get on the field. It's really strange. Tampa Bay, Oakland, we got Chip Kelly's their offensive coordinator, Coach Pete. Look for them to be a lot better than they were last year. Tampa 17, Pitt 14. Okay, Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, Johnson, the running back from Iowa. I love how they say, well, he didn't look that good. Yeah, he's got the third string line blocking for him. There's no Aaron Rodgers or Metcalf, so they can key on him. It's amazing how stupid people are. They don't get the details of what's going on. Tampa, they should be okay. Should be interesting. I still like Kyle Trask, but if I'm Indy, take Kyle Trask. If I am Oakland, take Kyle Trask. Like, what are you guys doing? The guy was fucking incredible at Florida. The Giants 31, the Jets 12. The Jets won't win a game this year. The Giants, I think, will be okay with Scatterboo. He had a hamstring injury, but I hopefully he'll be okay. You got to start Russell Wilson and then Neighbors. They should have a very good offense, which should make their defense better because they'll be resting while the offense actually gets first downs. The biggest problem with most defenses are the offense doesn't give them time to rest and turns it over too much, and it tires out the defense. San Diego and the Rams, San Diego, Herbert, their problem's Harbaugh. I don't know what people think he's a good coach for. He had to cheat at Michigan, and I don't mean sign stealing. He's a very bad game coach as far as let's go to the Michigan State game when he goes back to punt the ball with 9 seconds left. And you got a couple point lead, a 2-point lead or 1 point lead. 9 seconds left at your own 50, and you're back in punt formation, and Michigan State blocks the punt, goes in for a touchdown. He did it for the Niners against the Giants, so the Giants could get in the Super Bowl instead of the Niners. It was probably fixed because New England was going to have a hard time beating the 49ers with that defense. And so he sent out a guy, he muffed a punt, sent him out again, and he muffed another punt. Doesn't seem to quite grasp the concept of the game. He's not a really good quarterback, even though he played for the Bears until Ditka reamed him out. I don't really get what people get in him. He tends to have a good defense sometimes, but not at Michigan until the last year or two when they started paying their players. And then his offense stinks. It's just a running. It's a bow. It's let's run, and with the tight end and a fullback, we'll run and play defense. I mean, it's a Lombardi style. It's a Bo style, Woody style. But I don't know. And then the Rams, I think, what you want to call it, practice yesterday, Stafford. And Stenson Benson's been heating it up. He's a great backup. And they got the receivers and they got the defense. They know how to draft. I think the Lions guy's getting credit where he doesn't deserve it. This guy did not draft Aaron Donald, the Lions guy, and basically he did draft Golf, who sucked, and he was so bad they traded for Stafford, who was 10 years older than him, or 8 years older. So all he's done is drafted some first-round picks from Alabama, who my mother could have picked, and that's it. I mean, the rest of his picks are nothing. St. Thomas, okay, he was a fluke because he wasn't that good at USC. Anyway, look for the Rams to challenge Philly, San Diego. I don't think they can beat Denver, and I don't think they can beat KC. Baltimore 31-13. Baltimore, you got to get Lamar to slot receiver and let Cooper Rush be your quarterback. Dallas, the longer you keep Dak, you're never winning. They will sign Micah Parsons because Micah Parsons isn't an idiot, and he's not going to throw away $20 million. Only an idiot would sit out instead of doing it, because as you get older in football, you can't keep playing. You have a limited time because of your age. Denver 27-7. Look for them, and KC in the AFC. Buffalo, Baltimore, and that's not Houston. So those four, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh, look for them to be good. Arizona, I don't know about them. Jacksonville, New Orleans, two last place teams. The Bears 38-0 over Buffalo. Buffalo's got problems. Their backup quarterbacks suck, and Josh Allen runs too much. And then we look at the Bears. The problem is Badgett's better than Caleb, but you're going to play Caleb. And they were showing yesterday Cliff Kingsbury, and they said, oh, yeah, he was the offensive coach on USC. So Caleb had him and Lincoln Riley, and he sucks. And then they're trying to say, well, he developed Daniels. He did not develop Daniels. Daniels was Daniels if Cliff Kingsbury were not. They just use his offense. And the problem, so what they should do is sign him to a 5-year contract as offensive coordinator if Washington had a brain. But they probably don't. But that's the point. KC gave Spagnuolo a 5-year contract to be their defensive coordinator. That's what you need. You get a good offensive coordinator, sign them to a 5-year contract. It's important because these guys, 90% of them have no clue what they're doing. So the point was, Cliff Kingsbury helped Daniels, but wait a minute, he had Caleb, and he couldn't help Caleb. Caleb is not good. He just can't make the throws. He can't read the defenses. If he couldn't learn under Lincoln Riley and Cliff Kingsbury, you bring in Ben Johnson, and you think he's going to make a difference? You think he's better than Lincoln Riley and Kingsbury? You got to be kidding me. So they're better quarterbacks, Badgett. They won't play him. The best thing that can happen to the Bears is Caleb gets hurt. They got to go to Badgett, and then he wins 10 games for him. That's a whole different team. I would bet the Bears totally different with Badgett. Without him, I'm betting them under. With him, I would bet them that they'd be like a B team. And then yesterday, what can I say? 31-17 Cincy. Burrows looked great, and Washington, not at all. Daniels had the one series. I don't know why he played one series and didn't play another. He's out there to get his rhythm down. You need to pass. Even they said it's important to get the rhythm down and to get everything going. You have to do that. You can't just come out and not. And that's why you do it. You need to get your rhythm with your line and your receivers, the timing. You can't do it in practice. You got to do it in a real game because the defense is there and they know what your play are. I heard Joe Burrow. This was a very clever thing. He went into the defensive meetings and kind of said, this is what I'm seeing as a quarterback against your defense. And it helped tremendously because they didn't know what they were doing running their defense, right? And so Burrow saying, I could pick you apart, boom, 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 boom. Here's your problems. I thought it was outstanding what he did. You should hire Tom Brady or Joe Montana to teach your defense what the quarterback's looking at. It would make your defense 10 times better. Thought that was phenomenal. All right. Let's look at week 3 preseason just for the kicks of it. Thursday, Pitt at Carolina. Pitt 4.5, 36.5. New England at the Giants. Giants 6.5, 37.5. Friday, Philly at the Jets's. The Jets are favored. All right, we're taking Philly right there. 2.5, 35.5. Minnesota, Tennessee. Tennessee 3.5, 37.5. I don't know how they're favored. Minnesota, they got a big problem with this quarterback. Atlanta and Dallas. Dallas 2.5, 36.5. I don't know why they're favored. Penix will light them up. If this was a real game, we'd be all over. We'd lock Atlanta if they're getting points from Dallas. The Bears go to KC. KC 339.5. Saturday, Baltimore goes to Washington. Baltimore 2.5, 35. Baltimore prized to win preseason games. Denver and New Orleans. Denver 4.5, 38.5. I don't know if they're going to try. New Orleans sucks. I don't think New Orleans wins a game in the regular year. Houston goes to Detroit. Detroit 1.5, 35.5. From what I see, you got this is probably an under. You've got they're just killing Hooker against this Houston defense. Even the second team, they'll be all over Detroit. Detroit has no defense. I think it's a live Houston bet. The Rams at Cleveland. Cleveland 7.39. I don't see how Cleveland could be favored here. Take the Rams. Indy and Cincy. Cincy 2.5, 36.5. I would think Burrow would play, and they look pretty good. Their second and third team quarterback look pretty good. Seattle and Green Bay. Green Bay 1.5, 38.5. I don't know if Love's a good player or not. Jacksonville, Miami. Miami 3.5, 37.5. Jacksonville's pretty shitty. I don't think Jacksonville. The only reason they're going to win is they're going to play Carolina or Tennessee or Indy. Otherwise, they wouldn't win any games. Buffalo at Tampa. Buffalo 1.5, 37.5. I like Tampa there with Kyle Trask. I don't know why Buffalo is favored unless Josh Allen is going to play. I doubt it, but their backups stink. Mitch Trubisky. Even in the preseason game, he's terrible. San Diego goes to the 49ers. The Niners 4.5, 37.5. San Diego's probably a live dog there. And Oakland goes to Arizona. Arizona 1.5, 37.5. I like Oakland as the dog there. They're playing hard. They're playing to win. They're playing close games. Coach Pete wants to win. It's time for Chip Kelly to, work on his offense. That's preseason. So let's go to the real meat, NCAA football. Let's go through week 1 this week, starting. All right. So Saturday, these are Saturday's game, the 23rd. Iowa State, Kansas State. Kansas State 349.5. Let's get in a little detail for you. Iowa State was an A team last year. K-State was a B team. Iowa State had a 21 defense, Kansas State 29. The total on the game's 50. Both quarterbacks are back. Both coaches are back. I love the Iowa State coach. Iowa State plays very good. We will see. The game is in Ireland. Why would you want Iowa State, Kansas State there? I don't know. We'll keep that on. They probably play Iowa State the following week or in 2 weeks. That's the first game. I don't know if I don't think Idaho State's a Division I team. So that's the noon game Saturday. The 6:30 game. We've got Kansas and Fresno State. Kansas is 12.5, 51, we'll call it. Fresno State was an even team with Mikey Keene last week. They don't got Mikey Keene. They got Kurt Warner's kid. Kansas is an over team. Their quarterback's, but he's a good athlete. I like the coach. They've been getting better defensively. Fresno State at 25 defense, Kansas at 26. You got a new quarterback and a new coach for Fresno State, and you got a returning quarterback and coach for Kansas. I like Kansas. They're a very strong team. Kind of like under the radar, like you don't know they're very strong, and we win a ton of money betting on Kansas. The lane 12, Fresno State with the new coach and quarterback's got to hurt them. We'll get into that in a minute. The next game, a 7 o'clock game, we got Sam Houston against Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky 10 and 60.5. We got an under team, Sam Houston, who is not an under team this year, against an even team in Western Kentucky. Sam Houston with the 20 defense, but that's not real because they changed coaches. Western Kentucky's at 25. Returning quarterback for Sam Houston, who was not very good, and a new coach. Western Kentucky with a new quarterback from Abilene Christian and the same coach. Western Kentucky, I should have him again. Anyway, Western Kentucky gets a quarterback. I don't know how good he is from Abilene. He's good, but it's Abilene Christian. The problem with Sam Houston is their coach went to Temple. They were a really good team, a good defensive team for their first year. Now they got a new coach. Who knows? The returning quarterback who wasn't very good. I think Western Kentucky plays a good one here. And then we got Stanford and Hawaii. We got Hawaii a 2.5-point favorite, 51.5. This line's jumped. Hawaii was favored, then Stanford was favored, and now Hawaii is favored again. Stanford was a W team, Hawaii an E team last year. Stanford a 33 defense last year, 26. A new quarterback and a new coach. Stanford goes to, I think he was the guy from Old Mississippi State. And Hawaii has the same coach, Timmy Chang. New quarterback, but he's not bad. He looked good in a couple of the late games. He was like 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Better than the other quarterback they had. So Timmy Chang starting to get a defense, 26. It's games at Hawaii. Usually hard to win there because you're so concentrating on the island. You're not really concentrating on the Stanford looks at the volcanoes. Hawaii's there for work. So those are your 4 games on the 23rd this Saturday. So we try to look for consistency. Iowa State, Kansas State, coaching quarterbacks are that they're very even teams, and they're back. You got a new coach and quarterback at Fresno State. That's going to take time. Kansas doesn't. They have a returning coach and quarterback. Stanford, you have a new coach and quarterback. Hawaii, new quarterback, same coach, but the quarterback did play last year for Hawaii. Sam Houston, returning quarterback, new coach, new system. Western Kentucky, a new coach, a new quarterback, but he's probably decent from Abilene Christian. So this is what you have this minor week one. So if you buy college this week, you're going to get my. I'm not picking all 4 games, but you'll get my picks for this week, and you'll get the pick through 9-1. So the rest of the slate the following week, which starts on Thursday, you will get all those picks for the one price. So I've ended the week 9-1. So you can bet the 9-1 game, and that's it. So again, it's all up to you. You can just buy the college this week, $75. You get all the way through. There's probably close to 10 teasers. I'm not sure about a lock yet, but we see some big games. The bigger games, let's go through those. Central Michigan, San Jose State. I like that game. Boise, South Florida, interesting game. Auburn, Baylor, I like that game. Vegas goes to Sam Houston. It's a tough one. We'll watch what Sam Houston does this week. Georgia Tech, Colorado, we like that game. We're going to watch UTSA A&M closely because I really love UTSA. I don't want to fuck with them against A&M, but in conference we'll be fucking with them all the time. Temple, UMass. Temple should be very good with the new coach who came from Sam Houston, who was a really good coach. Quarterback's back, but now you've got a good coach. Look for them to get much better, and they're playing UMass. And what are they playing? Where's Temple? I think it's 3. Yeah, I think it was 2, went to 3. Yeah, here it is. They're 3. That's a bad line on that game. Again, you watch the coach move, right? And you want to bet the coach. We bet Jimmy Johnson a whole shitload. Urban Meyer. Georgia, Marshall. Marshall lost 47 players because their coach left to Southern Miss. So we're going to be watching Southern Miss very carefully. Great quarterback who transferred from Marshall. Marshall's just totally fucked. A new quarterback, a new coach, his first time coaching, and you've lost 47 players. Now he's got new guys from the transfer portal, but these guys probably suck. It's not like they recruited these guys. So Georgia, they were questioning how good's their quarterback. They're going to run the ball. They're going to play this smothering defense. Let's see. Tulane Northwestern's an interesting game. Let's see how Tulane looked. Northwestern, I don't know, they're terrible. Texas, Ohio State, that's the game of the day. I think there's only one way to play that game. I don't buy Arch Manning, and I certainly don't buy Alabama. Ohio State's quarterback, somebody from Alabama who couldn't beat out Milrose. So it's like Arch Manning who couldn't beat out Ewers. I don't think they're ready. Let's see. Utah, UCLA. Love that game. Uh, Penn State, Nevada, I think is a little high. Penn State 45. It's just a little bit high. Ole Miss against Georgia State. You got a new quarterback who's never played. We'll see what that does. We've got Old Mississippi State 11 and a half, 60 against Southern Miss. And I'm not quite sure Southern Miss doesn't win this game with the new quarterback, the new coach from Marshall. Old Mississippi State's terrible. Well, they were an O team. They had a 34 defense. But like I say, so if we look at Marshall last year, they were a B team with a 23 defense. That's really what you get with Southern Miss, not a 37 defense. So you're going to get a 23 defense, which is capable of beating Old Mississippi State with their 34 defense. Quarterback's back, but he wasn't that good anyway. The coach sucks. I think Southern Miss could be the better team there because of the Marshall coach and everything. And their quarterback's very good. This would be a very interesting game there. Old D in Indiana. Look for Indiana to keep it going. New quarterback from Cal. Alabama against Florida State. Alabama 13 and a half, 50. Florida State, new quarterback. The coach, I don't know what he's doing. Getting Uglia Buglia. Alabama, look for DeBoer to come on strong after last year. I think he'll be very good. Now, this will be a tough game. Florida State could have talent, but we know Alabama in that first game usually kills because that's what they're focusing on. If it was whatchamacallit, they would win by 30. Saban, but I don't know about DeBoer, but look for him to be pretty pissed. It's Alabama. He's got to win. So, he's a good coach. LSU Clemson, another big game. Bobby's team, LSU. An E team with the 24 defense against Clemson, an A team with the 22. We know the quarterbacks, very good quarterbacks. Klubnik, he was good in all the games except for the Georgia game when he did shit. So, again, just because you look good against Pitt and Virginia Tech and North Carolina does not mean you're a good quarterback. LSU always with a good secondary, always with a good pass rush, and we know they got a good quarterback. This should be a very good game. What's the total on this game? $57.5. Interesting. So I'll look for this to be a very good game. Don't buy that Clemson's this great team and all this and that. You can't buy it. We know against good teams they don't show up. They beat the ACC so bad, and then Florida State beat them when they were good 2 years ago, and then last year Florida State sucked. I'm not buying Clemson. Dabo Sweeney's okay. He's not great. But I don't know. I'm not. LSU comes to play in these big games. And they've been losing that first game a lot. So look for them to be really focused. Sort of like Cincinnati Bengals. They're not losing the first game. Cal, Oregon State. No, forget that. Notre Dame, Miami, our other big game. Notre Dame, 2.5, 50. Is that 56? It's 50. Interesting. Notre Dame, Miami, total of 50. Let me write it so it's actually readable. It's Notre Dame 2.5. Notre Dame with the strong defense, strong running, they're going to run it down their throat. They showed in the playoffs that they're okay. Miami, I don't know what to expect. Carson back, good quarterback, not great. Notre Dame, the defense comes with the defense. And then TCU, North Carolina. So we will see. So that's college football. So again, let's give you a free pick. All right, we'll go with the free pick. Texas, Ohio State under. That's the free pick. I always want to give a free pick. Total is 49. We're going under 55. Let's see if it's still 49. There it is. 48. All right, so go under 54 with Ohio State, Texas. That's your free pick. Enjoy. So we definitely are playing a game this Saturday, but you'll get the whole week. So you'll get the Ohio State, Texas under whatever I pick on Saturday, and then everything, the other picks. So you'll really get like 2 weeks, but the first week's only got 4 games. So we'll start going. Normally we stick to what we know week one, which is teams like Georgia Tech and it's kind of Clemson, LSU, the Notre Dame teams that we know. The best quarterback, Klubnik and Neusmeyer, we see those. But there's a lot of like Michigan's got underwear as their quarterback or Mikey Keene. So it really makes a difference what you're going to do with it. You're not sure. So normally there's the problem that with the transfer portal bullshit. I think that's ridiculous. You can't just transfer. I was listening to a Michigan guy on the radio driving up, and he said the problem is like I know when it's like when I come back from homecoming, I go back to Michigan, and I have my friends for 4 or 5 years at Michigan. Right? I was a lineman. I grew up with the linemen. We're all pals, and so you make friends as you're in the thing, as I did in Little League or Pony Colt, or where I work, you make friends. But that's the thing. You make friends through that. But when you're going every year a new job, I would hate that, right? I had to do that recently because I keep getting these year contracts that go 5 months. But you start making friends. You're there, for 5 years. You make good friends. Coaches, you go back to your alumni is Michigan. Well, what if you're one of these like Oogly or Boogly at Clemson, Oregon State, Florida State? Where are you from? Who's your school? Who are you an alumni of? He doesn't have a clue. But you get no chemistry. And if you're trying to play, you cannot be switching teams because you get players you don't like. You get different coaches who run different systems that you're not going to like. You've got to be very careful. I think it's a nightmare, all this team switching and everything else with all the transfers. So what are you doing now? You're Marshall. 47 players left, so they're going to different colleges. That's ridiculous enough. But then you brought in your own 47 who have no idea who's who. How do you put a team together? How do you do any of that stuff? I think it's ridiculous. Then you got the guy who's now coaching Southern Mississippi from Marshall. So he had to bring his guys from Marshall with him, so at least they're together. But it's hard. The coaches switch as bad as the players switch. So it's crazy. Yeah, the system's messed up. Yeah, it really is, David. It really is pathetic. I don't know where they're going with it. I mean, most people don't want to. You don't want to work at a job for a year and find a new job every year. It's stressful job hunting. It's stressful interviewing. You finally get the job and you hope it's a good one. But once you're in a good situation, I'll never forget. I was at Vistion and I left it to go work at a trucking company, and it was a big mistake. The atmosphere at Ford versus the trucking company was totally different. And I said, I'll never do that again. So I was at Mercedes and I was there 4 years, and then COVID hit and I had to leave. I never looked for a job. It was a great situation. And no matter, you could have paid me twice my salary, I would not have left Mercedes because it was good people. They respected you. You knew what your job was. Good communication. It was a really good job. And my advice is, if you're in a situation and you're making good money and you like the people and you like, most importantly, the job, uh, never leave it for money. Never take a little bit more. I can make 10 grand more over here. It's not worth it unless you're sure that new place is as good as what you have. The grass is never greener. It's the same thing with women. You're dating a girl and you like her and everything's going well. And then there's this really hot girl and you leave your girl for her, but you don't know what this new girl, it's not the same, because you start get the chemistry and you just look at each other and you're like, and you laugh at certain things and it's there. So when you get a girl that you really like, even let's say she's pretty and very nice and sweet, and then there's this really hot girl, you don't leave your girl for her. No. You don't do that because you just don't know enough of the other girl that it's going to be the same. If you're in a happy relationship, you don't screw it up and leave it. So that's the professor's lesson today on that. So in college football is a mess, really is. I don't like how the TV, these Thursday night games, these Sunday night, Monday, we got games. What we got? 8:31. We got Notre Dame, Miami, 9-1 TCU, North Carolina. Are you kidding me? And I don't like all the gambling involved with the betting. It's got to be a clean game. You don't care. You just want it to be fair. Why is there FanDuel and BetMGM involved with all this shit? Oh, FanDuel, what are they're the gambling network. How it's like Charmin, the toilet paper of the Detroit Tigers, FanDuel, the betting place of the Detroit Tigers. You should never be with that. They remember when Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays were helping the casinos in Atlantic City, and they made them stop. They say you can't be affiliated with baseball if you keep doing that, because we keep gambling and baseball separate because everybody needs to know it's a fair game. Otherwise, it's the WWF where we know they're fixed, but we can't. That's the thing with the WWF. People think it's fake. It's not fake. It's gymnastics, which people are hitting themselves, but it's only the outcome that's fake. We know that Hulk Hogan is going to beat Andre the Giant. We know that's the plan, right? Or Roddy Piper is gonna beat Hulk Hogan. That's the plan. How it gets there is real, but the plan is that. Now Hulk Hogan goes like this to hit you. He's stopping and he's hitting you like this, right? He's missing you by that, but it looks real. There are times you see Ric Flair slap the guy. He's obviously doing it, but it's the outcome's fake, but you like seeing the gymnastics and the care. You like seeing Ric Flair go, whoa. We don't know why, but we like seeing it, even though we know he's going to lose, or, we got his script where he falls down and he figure four somebody and he woos. I mean, but you like that character. But is that where football is going, where it's all planned out? I mean, I don't think anybody would watch it. We watch football to bet on it. And if you make that fake, then nobody's going to bet on it. There will be nobody watching football, right? And I'm so tired of seeing the family. I don't want to see the quarterbacks freaking mom and dad. I don't care. So there's a lot of that shit going on. Anyway, So that's what's going on with this crap. So that's www.teaserking.com, and I'll post the pics soon. I'm pretty sure who I'm taking next Saturday. I'll post it probably by Thursday. Today's already Tuesday, not a big deal. And then your free pick is the under in the Texas Ohio State game. As I said, you have no quarterback. You have two strong defenses. How are they going to score? You get a pick six. You might get a kickoff return. That's it. You're not scoring driving the ball down the field on these teams. Both defenses are too good, and both quarterbacks suck. Arch Manning for the Heisman? Are you kidding? Based on what? The way he looked last year, he wouldn't be lucky to be starting. So I don't buy that. Anyway, so that's college football. Pros again, baseball. We did another fabulous day. Let's look what gold's doing now. Let's look at the top. Let's look at the top 10. Forget their rankings. Let's look at my rankings. So if we go division by division, we got the American Athletic. I love how they're trying to sort the playoff. Well, we'll have 4 teams from the Big Ten and 4 teams from the SEC and a couple of teams from the Atlantic Coast and a couple from the Big Ten. How the fuck do you know? It's the top 10 or 12 teams. So I like Tulane again in the Florida. UTSA is a very strong team. Army always is well coached if they could replace the quarterback. Memphis always plays pretty well, and the Navy should be pretty good. The ACC, SMU will be good. Miami will be good. Clemson, I'm not sure they're all that good, but we'll see. We'll see how they play LSU. Louisville is always a little bit. Florida State needs a quarterback. Georgia Tech, look for them to be good. And then we don't know what Belichick's going to do. I don't think North Carolina has a good quarterback. I'm not sure Belichick and they'll probably be a good defensive team, not much offense. So I think this is between SMU, Miami, Clemson. I don't even think Miami will be there. Their coach stinks, Cristobal. SMU, Clemson, and then you've got Georgia Tech and maybe North Carolina. Georgia Tech, look for them to be good with Haynes King, and they got a very good coach. The Big 12, this is going to be – Houston will be the best defensive team. Utah could be very strong. Devin Dampier, the new quarterback, they always have a great defense. TCU will be explosive. Kansas is always good. BYU is supposed to have an incredible defense this year. And Baylor, I love their quarterback. Arizona State, we'll see. They lose Scatterboo. And Iowa State could be a thorn. They're always well coached. Rocco Breck's pretty good. Let's see, the Big Ten. Oregon's always tough. USC, I think, wins it this year. Washington could be there. Ohio State's going to be down. No quarterback, strong defense. Depends on their schedule. Penn State, I don't know, terribly coached team. We'll see. They got a good quarterback, good running backs. Look for them to be explosive. We'll see. They usually have a good defense. They usually got talent. I think it'll be Penn State and USC. Wisconsin looks like Illinois will be a thorn in the side. Indiana will be a thorn in their side. Iowa's always good defense. And then Michigan, I don't know. They got a lot of trouble. They need a quarterback. I don't know that Underwear is any good. Mikey Keene, he could fit in well. We have to see. They lose a lot of defense. I don't like their coach. We'll see. Conference USA, one of the most difficult conferences. Delaware's in it now. Kennesaw State's in it. Missouri State's in it. Jacksonville State. They got all these new teams come up from Division II going to Conference USA. The best team last year was Sam Houston, but their coach moved to Temple. Western Kentucky's always pretty competitive. Liberty, they're more of a running team. They could be. The rest is just garbage. Not much there. Independent, Notre Dame. Is there anybody else? UConn. Notre Dame will be good. They'll replace the quarterback. They've been playing a killer defense and really good running, so they'll be good. The Mid-America, MAC, Miami of Ohio, Toledo are the three big guns there. Oh, UMass joined the team, so they'll go undefeated. They'll go winless. UMass and Akron are the Z teams there. We'll keep an eye on how they do, but it's Miami of Ohio, and Toledo. And why do I say that? Because when we bet in conference, we're going to want to know, Toledo's playing UMass. They're laying 20. It's a lock. You want to know your A teams and your over teams and your Z teams in every conference because they break into conference play, and you want to take advantage of those Z teams. I do that all the time. I make so much money. Fine. I did that with Texas State. I locked Texas State against some Z team last year, and they beat them 50-10, and I'm laying 20. So it does it a lot. Mountain West. Fresno State, we have no idea. Hawaii's always, New Mexico, San Diego State. I think they had a new coach. Vegas, new coach. The Air Force, good coach, good defense. San Jose State has the Navy coach. So this is interesting. When Air Force plays San Jose State, they're playing Navy. So Air Force has enough with Army and Navy, and now San Jose State with the Navy head coach. So Air Force has a real headache. Colorado State and Utah State. Boise's at Boise, so they're the best. And that's it. Nevada's pretty bad. So it's really a Boise. Vegas has been giving them a run the last few years. The Pac-12 or the Pac-2, I have no idea. The SEC, let's talk to the big boys. South Carolina with the quarterback Norris. They had a pretty good defense. They're getting better. Tennessee picks out Joey Aguilar, very good quarterback from Appalachian State. They're always a strong home team, good coach, but he's an offensive coach. So when you need points, you go to Tennessee, especially at home, especially at night. Aguilar will light them up. They get really emotional. They lost James Parrish, the number 1 draft pick, the defensive end. We'll see what they are. They actually had a pretty good defense last year because they paid for the guys out of the bubble. So we'll see. They're usually a pretty good team with Heupel. Texas, I don't buy them as number 1. You actually need a quarterback. They do not have a quarterback. They might find a quarterback in Arch Manning, or their second stringer could be better. But I'm not nominating. You've got freshmen and sophomore quarterbacks who actually did something. Arch Manning hasn't done shit, so I really am not buying that. So I'm not. There's no way Texas is number 1. Texas is number 1, but they're a road dog to Ohio State, who's got a new quarterback. Really? And when did this happen? And how did this happen? So you have that, which I don't buy, and then you have good defense. Do they have running? They lost a couple of runners and receivers. Green Bay drafted one of their guys in the first round. I don't know. They always have athletes, but I don't buy Texas as number 1. I don't buy Ohio State's number 1 either. I don't like their rankings this year. Vandy, they got my guy, Daglio Pavia. They could be very strong in the SEC. They beat Alabama and they lost to Texas by 3. So they won their game. You got a good quarterback like that. See, Daggio Pavia is much better than Arch Manning. If Texas had Daggio Pavia, I would bet them over Ohio State, but not with Arch Manning. Too much bullshit on because he's Arch Manning. Who gives a fuck? A&M, they're going to struggle like usual. Alabama, look for a big year from them if their quarterback's good, but DeBoer's really good at that. Although we don't know, is he good or was Penix that good that made him look better than he is? But Penix wasn't that good. He was good at Indiana, hurt his knee, and then he went to Washington. And what happened there? Was it he played like he did his first year at Indiana, or DeBoer took him and made him better? I think it's a combination there. So is DeBoer really that, or was it Penix all that? We'll see. I still think Alabama. I think DeBoer had a lot to do with it. Arkansas, no. Auburn, no. LSU, I don't know. They'll have a good offense. We'll see about their defense. Missouri, no, not this year. Ole Miss, they lost Jackson Dart, and did he replace it? Lane Kiffin's okay until he quits, so we'll see how long he stays there. Florida, God, I don't know. They just can't seem to find a quarterback. Old Mississippi State's terrible. Oklahoma, they're not okay. They added the quarterback from Washington State, but he's not that good. Well, yeah, he was good at Washington State. But they play. They played nobody. It's the competition. I don't buy Oklahoma because they got this guy from Washington State's all of a sudden a top team. Oh, yeah, they added Jaden Ott from Cal. Well, he did great 2 years ago. Last year, he didn't do anything at Cal. It's always the system. It's the system. You are good in one system. You're not good in another system. So Jaden Ott might not be good. I don't know that Oklahoma, their coach is terrible. He's a defensive coach. Their offense has been terrible, except for when you had Dylan Gabriel. They look pretty fucking good. Georgia's Georgia. They'll have a strong defense. We'll see about their quarterback. I mean, just to be Georgia's quarterback, to be recruited by him, he's very good. So I think Georgia will be pissed off not winning. So look for Georgia and Alabama. Kentucky's always second tier. So you got Georgia. You've got LSU, you've got Alabama, you got Vanderbilt, you've got Texas, and I'll give you Tennessee and South Carolina are right on the fringe. They need the defenses. So in a roundabout way, those are your teams that you want to be looking at here in college football. Do not listen to the fanfare. Do not listen to the ESPN guys with all that bullshit. They just cause havoc. I got to watch this one. I haven't watched it yet. Putin just won. Ukraine just lost as leaked Zelensky EU terms beg Trump. What are they begging Trump?
I'm a six-figure funded trader and I've passed plenty of challenges just like this one using just one tool. Everyone.
They beg Trump to cross Putin's red line. Ukraine just lost as leaked Zelensky EU terms beg Trump to cross Putin's red line, which he's not going to do. What else do we got? Let's see what he got.
All of a sudden now he feels like a real hero among this extremely weak crowd of European leaders, and they love getting together and talking about war, but which is disastrous. At the same time, everybody in Europe has joined NATO, of course, compared to 30 years ago, and so we have an extremely dangerous situation with weak leaders who really now wants to start a war or continue the war. The conflict between Ukraine and Russia would have been over a long time ago if the European leaders hadn't been in there, or the European countries giving money and weapons to Ukraine. So again, the consequence of this end of the monetary era and the weak political leadership leads to consequences which can be disastrous for the world. So we know we don't only have the economic crisis that is going to come upon us, but it also a high risk of war in some places and at some level. And all of a sudden now he feels like a real hero among this extremely weak crowd of European leaders, and they love getting together and talking about war, which is disastrous.
It's a short, so he's repeating.
Didn't see coming. Beijing has ordered every Chinese company to stop buying American.
Why does it keep doing it? Let's have more commercials. China just ordered Chinese companies to stop buying U.S. chips. Yeah, that's good. The U.S. is really doing well with these idiots. Scott Bassett, what a moron he is. NATO can't survive. The alliance is finished. I like when Colonel McGregor's on. I haven't seen these. It's not working. Deficit explodes under Trump. I hate Richard Wolff. We won't listen to him. Bye-bye Ford. America just lost Ford and GM. China buys U.S. auto industry. Well, I guess I won't look for a job at Ford. I'm glad I didn't get that one. So China's got the gold. They're buying up companies. Toyota and GM lose billions in brutal trade war. Fake peace. Ukraine panics over Trump's one-way peace proposal. Let's Fed ignores recession while prices drop.
And we just got the first negative print in years. The pandemic notwithstanding, we just got the first negative print since the Great Recession of 2007, 2009. And so the Fed is seeing in no uncertain terms, with home prices turning negative month over month. S&P, Case-Shiller, as well as FHFA, they both saw home prices decline month over month in March. Shelter's the largest input to the CPI. So we're seeing disinflationary forces take hold, and yet the Fed is standing pat saying we better be vigilant about fighting inflation just in case while Rome is burning, while
This girl is a Keynesian. You can tell when she says disinflation. There's no such thing. Prices are dropping is prices are dropping. There's not a market. All that happens is there's no market. The market's down here, and houses are here, and cars are here. Whatever's selling is here, but the market has went from here to here because of the inflation. This is not disinflation. This is not anything. A recession is slowing the economy. This is just simply the market does not want to pay this, and the market will only pay here where it feels it's a fair trade, not up here. So this has to come down to that. All it is, but nobody can explain it to you because they're all a bunch of fucking idiots. This is a new one. Stop drinking these coffees. These 7 coffees, they're not 100% coffee. What is it? Why can't people just sell proper products? I mean, I'm eating Fruit Loops for breakfast, knowing they're full of garbage. A little bowl is not going to kill me, but I know better. That's why I don't eat this shit. Yogurt, it's not real. Why don't they just make real food? It's unbelievable. See here, it's don't tolerate them, cut them off silently. So if people are bothering you, just cut them off. And here's China, millions frozen out, panic. China's banking crisis deepens. So if China's broke, how are they buying all these companies and, turning away? See, all they're doing is not buying the U.S. meat or U.S. chips or whatever. But we'll see what happens with that. This was a good one. I did watch this. I think I showed you that on Sunday. Yeah, 3 days ago. But it was a good one. He just gets over on Bitcoin and crypto and all that. So it's a good place to final stage. It's over. That sounds interesting. China's over. So we're really fucked here, aren't we? 8 evidence signs God is. Oh, okay, I thought it was gold. "32 countries want to join BRICS." So China's bank takes over. Let's watch a little of this. I'm curious.
Wow, these are so beautiful. I'm not going to miss out on these pumpkins again.
China didn't fire a missile. It opened a bank. In just 60 days, Beijing slashed its U.S. Treasury holdings to $760 billion, imported 127 metric tons of gold, and launched financial outposts in Hong Kong and Singapore. While Washington tries to cut China off from World Bank funding, China's writing its own loans, with its own rules, and countries are lining up to take the deal. This isn't diplomacy. It's the quiet launch of a financial empire. And the U.S. may have just triggered its own collapse. In April 2025, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent quietly told the Asian Development Bank to freeze new loans to China, aiming to restrict Beijing's access to multilateral capital. But within weeks, China's response wasn't protest. It was expansion. The Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, China's own multilateral lender, announced plans to open branches in Hong Kong and Singapore, 2 of Asia's top financial hubs. With $57.4 billion in assets and 38 member countries already under its belt, the AIIB's move signals not retreat, but offensive. According to Bloomberg, China has already committed over $52 billion through the AIIB, much of it targeting energy and transport, the same sectors once funded by Western institutions. As the U.S. pressures the IMF and World Bank to isolate Beijing, Beijing is reshaping the terrain entirely, making loans that flow right back to Chinese contractors and industries. If Washington hoped to box China out, it may have just forced it to build a bigger ring. Bessent's strategy to tie U.S. financial support to World Bank and IMF reform hinged on limiting China's influence, but it may have exposed America's own. At the IMF's April meeting, Bessent blasted mission creep in multilateral lending, demanding the institutions graduate China from developing status. Yet, the AIIB continues to attract U.S. allies like Germany and the UK, both full members, undermining Washington's leverage. Reuters reports that Bessent connected a $4 billion U.S. contribution to the World Bank's Poorest Country Fund directly to China-specific reforms, essentially turning U.S. loan guarantees into political bargaining chips. But Beijing, flush with a $1 trillion trade surplus, isn't begging for approval. Instead, it's issuing its own loans, often with fewer conditions and more immediate results. This raises a serious question. If America's loan diplomacy now comes with caveats, while China's comes with cranes and engineers, who looks like the more reliable partner?
I don't like the Scott Bessent. He hasn't done anything. Everything he does it hurts the U.S. and terrible. I don't know. The Egon one is very close to what the Egon always says: gold and get out of dollars and Bitcoin. What he says about Bitcoin and stablecoin is they're not store of value. So what he's saying is, if you got $500,000, the object of the game is to keep it. But everybody wants to keep making money on stocks or annuities or whatever they're making money on, so they can have more of nothing. If it's all monopoly money, what does it matter if you got 1 million of it or 2 million of monopoly money? Does that matter? That's the whole point that I try to go and tell you, and that's what Egon says. You've got to get out of your dollar because it doesn't have a value. Now, most people don't want to hear it, and most people just don't get how can it not have a value? What is with my nose? And they don't get it really isn't, it's not worth anything. But people can't comprehend that, or people don't want to confront it. I think a lot of people, they just don't want to hear that their money's not worth anything, right? They just don't want to admit. They don't want to admit they're fat. They don't want to admit whatever it is that they do, they don't want to admit. Oh, I could quit smoking. I could quit drinking. I could quit drugs. I could quit. They don't want to admit that they can't until they're sick. Everybody I ever knew who smoked didn't quit until they had an operation and they said, oh shit, I got to quit smoking. Even though, don't you know it's bad for you? I'm telling you the dollar is worthless, but you don't want to admit it. So you're going to go down with the ship. So those people that don't want to admit it, the problem's going to be, they're going to be in the dollar and it's going to go to zero, which it already's gone to about 1 cent. And they'll try to use it and they won't be able to. It'll still be there. It won't buy anything. There won't be a value to it. That's what I mean. There's no value to it, right? That's the problem. You can't do anything with it, unfortunately. So that's really your problem with it. And therefore it's not, it won't work. And that's really what happens. You don't want to admit it. You don't want to realize it. You don't want to realize, I have this and it's not worth anything. It's hard to come to that conclusion. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't think it would go to zero, but it has. So you're going along. Nobody's telling you what you're doing is wrong. So therefore, how would you know it? People tell you cigarette smoking is bad. So you know cigarette smoking is bad, right? So you don't have to, you know what you're doing is wrong. And money, you don't know what you're doing is wrong. But when you're told that it's wrong by me, you have a hard time. Now, I think most of my class gets it. They realize, oh shit, yeah, he's right. Yeah, go to the grocery store, costs more for this and that. Yeah, I'm in trouble. And most of the people, I think, understand that. And that's the big difference now. They realize that it's worthless and they're getting out. And it's a matter, see, most people are trained to make money with their money. I'm going to buy stock so I can make money. Fine, that's smart. until the money isn't worth anything. So now you've gotten this money from the stocks. Now the problem is holding it. How do I hold the value? Well, you got to realize the value is gone, which you don't, because nobody's telling you that your $1 million that you made in the stock market, well, you made on Bitcoin. So now that's not real. You're in trouble. So, but you don't know it. So once you realize that, what do you do? But you've got me telling you, who's he? What does he know? And, well, he can't be right. And that's the problem. You got to know who's telling, because then there'll be other people telling you, no. Keep you watch the stock ticker or CNBC or whatever, and they're Fox, and they're buy this stock, buy that stock, gold. Look at Bitcoin's going to 1 million, but the underlying is the million what? Oh, it's in dollars. The dollar is going to zero, but that's not what they're telling you. They're telling you to buy this stock and that, buy Amazon, buy the defense contractors, buy the gold miners, but everything you make in there is in dollars, and it's not going to be worth anything. If the dollar's not worth anything, you don't want to really be attached to these instruments that are in dollars, right? Because they're worthless. You're in worthless dollars. That's why everybody's selling their stocks to get out of dollars to go into local currencies, the euro or the Swiss franc or whatever, the British pound, the Canadian dollar. They're getting out of the US dollar because you can see it's worth nothing. You got a $37 trillion debt. Hello, you can't balance your budget, which means you need more money every month. You can't pay the interest. You can't pay Social Security, Medicare. You can't pay your government employees because you have too many of them. So we'll just print money to do it. Well, as you print money, it makes it worth less and less. That's the key, is why it's not worth anything, is because they keep printing it. You cannot just keep printing it. Oh, we're the reason. The defense is we're the reserve currency. Yeah, we are the reserve currency. Doesn't mean you can still print it. It's not worth anything. You cannot keep printing it. Even though it is the reserve currency, it doesn't really matter. So that's the other point of the argument. You can make a lot of money, but the question that needs to be asked is the money worth anything? That's why we buy gold and silver, because it is worth something and it can't be inflated or printed. The more you print, the more you produce of anything, the less the value is, right? What's the valuable cars? Oh, I don't know, a 64 Mustang, because they only made 20 of them. Why is that more valuable than a 65 Mustang where they made 10 million? Right? The limited one's always worth more. And then you have, so you have that, and then you have, look at the baseball card, the Honus Wagner. They only made 5, the 1906. They only made 5 of them. That's why they're worth $5 billion. Even in bad condition, it's a PSA 2 or 3 or something. Yet it goes for $2, $3, $4 million. Why? Because it's limited. So wait a minute. So if you have limited money versus money that's printed to death, what's worth more? The limited money, which is gold and silver. It's always more limited because they can't find it. It comes out of the ground, which doesn't mean anything, but the fact that you can't print it and make it a highly supplied good, like the dollar, like the yuan, like the ruble, like any of the other dollars, because they can't print them and make them more expanded, more inflated, then that's why it's worth something. You can never inflate gold or silver. It's got to come out of the ground. There's just not much of that left in the ground to get. So that's a big problem. And yeah, there's some at the bottom of the ocean with Spain and everything, but that's being counted. It's what's available is what's bought, and then what is remaining. So if there is gold on the bottom of the ocean, it's not really up for sale. So that's why it's still there. But that's the whole point of it. It's and why did they mine gold? Why did the Spaniard? Why did the Aztecs and Incas? And It was valuable back then. It's always valuable. It's just very pretty. It's always in demand, and it's very limited in supply. That's why you go into gold and silver. There's not a lot of it, and it's very limited. And they're kind of keeping the price down to buy more. But as soon as there's no more left to buy, the price explodes because they say, well, there's no more to buy. So I'll buy it from you. Well, I'm not going to give you at 3,300. I'll give it to you at 6,000. Why? I don't even want to give it up because it's limited. I know I have the limited asset. And that's really what you have to understand. It's the limited asset that cannot be overproduced versus the dollar and all the paper currencies that are way overproduced because they're all got the debt. They all got can't balance a budget. They all have big government spending. They all have this defense buying now, and all their people are getting older. They all have to have pensions and Social Security and Medicare, and it all goes to the same thing. And most of them are socialists, which is, oh, we'll just give you money for doing nothing. You're here, we're going to give you money. Where are you going to get it? Oh, we'll just print it because apparently we can just keep printing it because we're the reserve currency. What a bunch of horse shit that is. Well, you can print because it's the reserve currency. And I'm like, you can't. What does the reserve currency mean? Again, it's if you can have Bitcoin be $1 million. It's dollar. It's based on nothing. It's worth nothing because it's in dollars. So this is what I'm teaching you. And yes, this is what I've learned in my master's program, which is why it's a master's class in Austrian economics with Adam Smith and a very good teacher at Walsh, my business school. So I'm telling you that what's really happening, and you can see it. You can see prices going up. It's the dollar being worthless. It can't be printed. You can't argue that. They can't print gold and silver. And you're printing the dollar. You can see the $37 trillion debt. So all I'm taking is the facts and laying it out for you and saying, yeah, you can hold your stocks and you can keep your pension and your annuities and all that, but you're getting paid in zero and monopoly money. That's what's happening. So that's what you got to be careful with. So what the hell is with my nose? I don't know. We'll wash it up. Anyway, that's what's going on. So please be careful of that. I know you want to make money, as you should, but you want to make money holding gold and silver. You don't want to make money holding dollars unless your plan is, as you make so much dollars, get out of them and buy more gold. Then I understand it. Just be very careful. The market is going to crash very, very soon with all these people pulling their dollars out. That's why it's going to crash. It'll be like Madoff. Everybody will take their money and they're all going to want to buy gold and silver with it. They're going to want to get back into Germany and the UK and China and Japan. They're going to want to get into their local currencies and get it into gold and silver because they understand that. So just understand that's what's happening. If you can understand that, then you can get out of it and go into gold. And it's so cheap. They're holding it down. Let's take a look and see where it's at now. $33.17, $37.31 in silver. Again, these are steals at these prices. I don't know what the U.S. is doing. I think they're just trying to keep the price down to keep so they can buy it. It's a fixed market. It's got nothing to do. There's no squeezes you can do. You cannot silver squeeze or gold squeeze these because the value of this price, $33.17, does not have anything to do with people buying or selling gold. It is not people profit taking. It is not they're buying it, they're selling it. No, even if everybody bought a ton or sold a ton, the price wouldn't move because the price is not reflected in the market of what people are buying or selling. That just isn't happening. That's not the point. So therefore, you have no idea. Now, if everybody was buying the Montana card and it's now 110,000, you can see it on eBay. Oh, it's 110,000 for his PSA 10 rookie. Oh, the Mano car is 80,000. You can see it on eBay. The demand's rising, but you can't see that with gold and silver because it's controlled by options, where everything else is controlled by market activity, buying and selling of actual people. And that's why it doesn't matter. So the 3317 is a mystical number. All it does is make people who want to buy it, the central banks, China, Russia, buy it cheaper. Even if the US is buying it because they need to cover these shorts. When somebody buys the short, so people are buying the short at 33.17, they want delivery of the gold. Well, you have to have the gold. So that's what they're trying to do, is lower the price to buy the gold, which isn't going to work. So that's kind of what's happening. So just be careful. This is a huge buying opportunity. This is not, there's no demand in gold. That's bullshit. There's no demand in some, nobody wants, that's bullshit. That might be the message they're trying to tell you. These are the people that don't tell you anything about what's going on. They didn't teach you about Austrian economics, which is much better than Keynesian economics. They haven't taught you about gold and silver being very limited, therefore they're worth more, and they will not only never lose their value, the value will go up 10 times. The dollar will lose its value, but what they won't teach you that. So you're listening to people just lying straight to your face or just don't understand. Either way, why would you want to listen to them? You don't want to listen to them. You want to listen to people who actually know what they're talking about or can teach you properly. That's what I'm doing here. That's why I don't charge for the class. This is way too important. Your health and safety is way more important, because when these people lose all their money, there's going to be big trouble health-wise. There'll be heart attacks and strokes and people committing suicide. This will be a very terrible time. But if you can prevent that, I mean, I get, I give some gold away to my friends because I know they're going to need it, but I tell them to hold on to it. I give Jenna an ounce of gold to protect her, but then she needs it for an operation. And I keep saying, quit spending it all. Just, it's going up. And when I met her in Italy, it was $2,800. Now it's $3,400. It's gone up $500-$600 since October. And, you try to, it's going to go up more. This is the strangest I've ever seen it, where for the last 4 or 5 months since May, it's just straight line 3,300. It's gone up to 34, back down. Occasionally be 3280, back up, but it's basically this 3320 to 3360 frame. And Mark McGuire will say it's all over, but it's not. It's not over till we get a real price, which we're not getting for whatever reason. So that's what you got to realize. Anyway, that's what's going on. And any other questions or comments, please feel free to hit me up, www.teaserking. That's where you go to the purchase page. Let me show you that. So there's the teaserking.com. My goal is to make you money. You can, if you want to email me, go here to home. If you want to purchase the picks, go to the purchase pick tab. So first go to home, and you see, and you can get my email. Boom, boom, boom. There we are. And all these wonderful comments, how I made people money. And then if you come here to purchase picks, you hit purchase picks and you get the picks, and you choose pro, college, or both. Most people take both because they want both pro and college and the locks for the week. You can get the locks for the week or the locks for the whole year, and you can get weekly, you can get monthly, or you can get for the whole year. Football, $770 or $750. It's $750 for every pick I do this year through the Super Bowl. Again, they're weekly, so it goes Tuesday to Monday night. Some people think it's, I bought it on Tuesday, I got till Tuesday. No, it's Tuesday. One guy bought it on Thursday, thought he had Thursday to Thursday or Friday to Friday. I said, no, the weeks are the regular weeks of the football. So Tuesday to Monday night ends the week. Then you have to buy the next. Now, most people buy the month because you get a break. It's $100 if you buy both picks, but you get all the locks for the week. For 4 weeks, it's $300, not $400. So a lot of people buy that because they like, oh, I get to save money. It's only $300. Then the full year is only $750, which is roughly 2.5 months. You're getting 5 months, right? You get August, September, October, November, December, and January, and it includes the Super Bowl. So basically it's 5 months plus the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl and the college playoffs. We'll have to see how they do these stupid college playoffs, these buys, these home game. I mean, it was crazy. SMU going to Penn State. What was that? Very, very strange and new. I didn't like it. I didn't think the right teams were in it. I thought the wrong teams were getting buys. Ohio State never should have been in it. Losing to a team like Michigan, they should never have been in the playoffs. Michigan was unranked, not a very good team. How do you justify a 2-loss? You know, it's one thing when Georgia and Texas play each other and they might lose 1 or 2 games. Texas lost twice to Georgia, but they were still in it. But that's okay. But Ohio State losing to Michigan, they never should have been in it. And that is a big deal from Ohio State. If you lose to Michigan, I'm sorry, you're this coach is going to be fired if he loses again this year. He's lost 4 in a row. You lose 5 in a row to Michigan, you're not the coach anymore. I don't think he's a very good coach. I think the only reason he won was he had Chip Kelly last year, who's now gone to Oakland, who bailed him out because against Michigan, they didn't throw any passes. And then all of a sudden in the playoffs, they're a whole different team. Great. Well, that really helped. So I don't know what they were doing against Michigan. But anyway, he does that again. He's gone. You don't lose 5 times to Michigan, especially how you get into the playoff, not only with 2 losses, but one of them was to a bad team. So we'll see. But anyway, purchasing picks. So some people just like my locks. You can get the whole year for $500 or each week $77. But if you buy the both for $100, my college and my pro, you get the locks included. So you don't have to buy the locks and that. Some people buy the locks and then buy the pros. You don't need to. And then as far as my history's up there, so you can see I had 4 weeks of 10-0 and a 10-1 week. I got really hot last week, which I always somehow I find 2 or 3 weeks I go 10-0. They just line up right. The picks are easy. So it's the matchup. Some matchups are very difficult. You're not sure. Like these baseball pitchers with the 4.5 ERAs, are they going to shut you out or give up 10 runs? Those are the inconsistent ones. But when you look at football, I get the it's a perfect, Denver's playing Indy and Casey's got Tennessee. They're going to blow them out. So it depends on who you got or the live dogs that determines my picks a lot. So generally people, sometimes they buy the lock, sometimes they'll buy the week. A lot of people buy the month. And I get a handful who buy the year. I know it might be a little expensive for some people. I will give the free pick again on the site as I gave you Ohio State, Texas under today. So we will give that. I'll probably do a separate football Saturdays and Sundays. I'll do a college day and then I'll do a pro day. We'll look at injuries and the latest line and any news that I can pass on to you that would benefit you in making money that weekend. So anyway, week 1 will go this weekend, and the following you'll get them both for the same. And at this point, I think I would just buy the college $75 for the week because you're going to get both. And really, the pros start the following week because this goes till 9/1, and then the pros don't start till 9/5. The following week, then you can buy them both for $100 would make perfect sense. Or that's when you start buying the year. or the month. Most people, because they're with me the whole year pretty much. So most people either buy the year or the month, depending on what they can afford. And like I said, I do have a few who want to give me piecemeal, so they break the $750 into three $250 payments, which is fine. I'm only going to give you a month at a time. So if you buy the first 250 and then you don't pay me the other two, you only get the first month, which is about what you paid for. So to each their own, but I do make you money. Most of my guys come back year after year after year, shows you. I got a guy, he gave me a $500 tip and he says, I've been following you for 6 years. You make me $50,000. Like, that's all I get. But I mean, I don't know it. I don't know. Or Bob once in a while, Luke once in a while, Real D, Nick. I mean, I get people that have been there for years. I try to teach them, which is what they like, because it's hard to find a teacher who actually knows what they're talking about, who can explain it. And that's where I kind of excel. So keep that in mind. That's the point. So anyway, I think that's about it. So I'm going to go. It's a rainy day out. Well, it's a cloudy day. I don't know if it's raining. It's just cloudy up at the lake. So I can probably still go to the golf course. There's a Nicholas course. I'll just chip and putt because I don't think I can play. My back will not tolerate me to even take a nice swing with the driver. And if I did, I don't think I could play 9 holes. I think it would be too hard on my back. Maybe if I sat in the cart and stretched it out. Oh, I got to leave you with this story. So I'm at the lake on Sunday, and I'm doing my I picked up my buddy, the bus station to the airport. So I want to relax. I go to the lake, and I'm sitting at a table right by the lake, which apparently belongs to the apartment complex behind. And they want to charge me with trespassing. I've never heard of anything so strange in my life. How am I trespassing? I'm sitting at a table by myself. To me, it's the property is the city's, but apparently this little piece belongs to the apartment. So they apparently own the land, which I don't know what that means, but okay, fine. They own this piece of grass and there's a table on it. There's nobody there. There's some people at the dock. And so the 2 cops come up to me and they're like, well, let me see your license and this and that. You're trespassing. And my response to them was, you have nothing better to do than bother a guy who's sitting here by himself, not making any noise, just trying to heal my back because I walk like a mile and a half and that last little bit is tough on my back. So I'm trying to stretch it by sitting, and I might sit there a half hour. And you got nothing better to do. You're the police. You have nothing better to do than bother a gentleman who's sitting here doing nothing. And I couldn't believe it. And so the other cop goes to me. He says, well, "You're not going to do this again, are you?" And I says, "Well, I guess not. If it bothers these people so much, they got nothing. You should be worrying about your money being worthless and going out and buying gold and silver a lot more than you should be worrying about me sitting at a table where there's nobody there. There's like 3 tables. There's nobody sitting there. What is your problem? It offends you that I'm sitting at a table? I'm trespassing? Really? On grass, on like a park type of a deal." So I was like, okay, this is about as stupid as it gets. Meanwhile, people are committing serious crimes, and you're bothered. You're worried about me. I mean, if I'm the cops and I hear some guy sitting at a table trespassing, yeah, I probably won't get to that one today. Like, you've got to be kidding. So I just laughed at him. I says, you don't have anything better to do. Like, it must be a slow day. There's no crime in the city. Okay. So that's my story about that. Be careful of these card scams. where people say, I want a eBay card or any of these Apple cards. They're all scams. People aren't real. Who wouldn't want money versus the card? So if you meet somebody and he or she says, well, instead of give me $100, give me a card and I'll do X service, it's fake. Because they want the card to get the code and take it, and then you'll never see them. The service will not be rendered versus getting, who wouldn't take cash? Yeah, you can give me $100 or $100 gift card. I'll take the $100. So if you ever have that, it's a scam 100% of the time. Just FYI, I know we all deal with people that want card and they're not. They're all fake. Don't even, if you don't want money, they're fake. I give cards to my friends. I'll give them PayPal. I never give cards to Jenna or Daria. I PayPal them money. Of course, they want money. They don't want a card, and then they gotta, So it's never people that It's these strangers that it's too good to be true, or it's bullshit, and it is. So just an FYI, a Teaserking warning there. So that's about it. So week 1 college football is Saturday. Good luck to you. My pick will be a blend of this 4 games Saturday, probably with the following week. Your free pick is the Ohio State Texas under. It's a teaser. Everything I do is in teasers. But I know somebody like Titus does bet my teaser straight also. And he made 18 grand. So good luck to you, Titus, this year. I hope you make another 18 grand. I like the tips. And so there you go. Most of my plays will work in straight also. It's a feel, but with the extra 6 points, it really makes it an easier bet. I used to tease Georgia under. I used to tease Georgia under 50 a lot and go to 56. And I never needed they would win 38-0. So I never really needed the teaser, but it's nice to bet it. You can bet more on it, knowing that Georgia under 56 will never happen. That was the year they gave up 7 points a game. So you're looking at the totals. You're looking for the good defenses. That's the most important, and the quarterbacks. And we'll get into that. Anyway, I think that's it. So have a good day. I'm going to try to enjoy the lake here if I can. www.teaserking.com will get you here, and that'll get you money. And then you can turn the money into gold and silver as Rumpelstiltskin would do. All right, so your goal is to win money with me, to go buy more gold and silver while these idiots hold the price down. But it is not that people don't want gold or silver. It is not that anybody is selling it. It is in huge demand, and they're keeping the price down artificially, which means it's all bullshit. All right. Have a good day, everybody. I will see you tomorrow.